Okay, now that it's established that magic definitely plays a part in concealing Ladybug and Cat Noir's identities, I'll talk about the other factors that make it so hard for people to realize that Marinette and Ladybug are one and the same, and Cat Noir and Adrien too. 1. The different personalities. Like I said, it's not the main cause for people's inabilities to recognize, but it certainly plays a part, making it even harder for people to have the revelation for themselves. Like I showed before, Adrien is completely different from Cat Noir. We do see Marinette responsible just like Ladybug sometimes, but she's mostly a stuttering mess, clumsy, and seemingly insane. But still cute. Which is completely different, though, from mature, confident Ladybug who pretty much always acts professional. It's even harder for Adrien to recognize that Ladybug is Marinette because he doesn't see her often, and when he does, she's like, which is again completely different from the girl who's in love with, who's sure of herself and knows how to talk, and throwing comebacks at him and stuff all the time. Also, people may not know that magic gives Ladybug and Cat Noir super strength and fighting skills, so people who see Marinette may not think she's even skilled enough to be Ladybug. Like, maybe they see that if Marinette was that clumsy, then if she was Ladybug, Ladybug would fail at all her missions or something, like in Reverser. The whole personality difference is like the case of Benedict Cumberbatch and Sherlock, Johnny from Fantastic Four and Captain America, Bubbles and Raven. I know they aren't the same person, but they're voiced by the same person, and if their faces were messed up because of a prosopagnosia type of power, then you wouldn't know if they were the same or not. And Felix and Cat Noir, which is even harder for me to imagine than Adrien and Cat Noir, by the way. Like, how can this guy be this guy? What? If looks weren't in there, I wouldn't know they're all one and the same. 2. Although Marinette's hair might clearly look to us like Ladybug's hair because of those 2 radishes, I now suppose that that's just the way any pigtails in the show are drawn, so maybe that's just what everyone who has pigtails look like. Manon's hair also looks basically the same if it wasn't for the color, except it's a little messy because she's a wild child. Aurora could even pass as Ladybug if her hair was black, and since Ladybug's face is unrecognizable. Also Alex if she tied up the other side and combed more. Oh, and if as many as 4 of the characters we see in only a small part of Paris wear pigtails, then maybe pigtails all around Paris are more common than we think. This is not like our world where people don't wear pigtails that much. In their world, pigtails might just be as common as ponytails in real life. Oh, and remember how Marinette said there are plenty of girls with dark hair in Dark Cupid.
There are plenty of girls at school with dark hair and blue eyes.
Well, also a large number of them probably also wear pigtails. So that said, in the show, Marinette's hair wouldn't be conspicuous, and if her personality and magic conceals her, then you really can't guess that she's Ladybug that easily. Also, remember how I said earlier that the hair does change slightly for Ladybug too? Like, it's darker? In the show, sometimes you can't tell, either because they didn't color it right or because it's confusing with different lighting, but based on this photo, it's different. So maybe, given that many girls can have dark hair and wear pigtails, and that Ladybug's hair color is kind of different, Adrien and everyone else might not even consider that Marinette is Ladybug. Well, the difference between Adrien and everyone else is that he knows that when he becomes Cat Noir, his hair changes too. So you might be like, well, he should expect Marinette's hair to change as well, so even if it's a slightly different color, Marinette's hair is pretty much the same, and he should pick up on that. But okay, listen, since his hair changes in shape, he might not expect that Ladybug's hair changed in color, and think that it also changes in shape. So he might just still think that Ladybug naturally has a different hair color from Marinette, if he were to compare them. And in her civilian form, Ladybug's hair might have a different shape or length from Marinette's pigtail hair. Therefore, Ladybug's hair probably isn't like Marinette's hair. So you might even suspect Kagami is Ladybug, right? Because she has a different hair length. And this color is closer to this color than this color is to this color. Clearly he had the goo-goo eyes because she resembled Ladybug, even in personality and fighting skill. But anyway, to conclude this thought, so far everything about Ladybug could be to the character seemingly completely different from Marinette, even all parts of appearance. 3. The odds of having a hero in class may seem to the characters as low, and even lower to have 2 heroes in class. Seriously, Ladybug is like bomb, and she does her job like a boss, showing up when they need her and stuff, so people might not expect that she's an ordinary student, that even has time to be a superhero, by the way. Same with Adrien. He's a model, he's busy, he has lessons, how can he also be a hero as well? With also a lot of skills and is super cool. Actually, how do these two have time to have two roles? Like, seriously, I'm always dying under a pile of homework. Like, how are they not having breakdowns? Okay, anyway, Marinette and Adrien might not even imagine that someone else in class is a hero because you can have anyone in all of Paris be Ladybug or cat noir, and since they each know that they're a hero themselves, they might believe that it's too slim of a chance that the other hero also goes to their school and is in their class. So not only can they not make connections due to appearance and personality, it's also because of the small probability in their minds. 4. Any suspicions that you might have that two people is actually the same person is cleared if you see them in the same place, which shows that logically they can't be the same person. But at least I think they were twins though for this. In Timebreaker, Adrien saw Marinette and Ladybug in the same area. If he knew that time was being played with back then, Marinette could still be on his suspect list like every girl in Paris. But Ladybug did say,
Cat Noir, I can't explain now, but we've got to capture Timebreaker's Akuma.
So then Adrien never really learned that the duplicates resulted from time traveling, also because he didn't have a duplicate version of himself. For all he knows, the two Ladybugs and the two Akuma victims might have been caused by some sort of duplication power. All Adrien knows is that he's not supposed to let Timebreaker tag him. So then after seeing this, he's probably still thinking that they can't be the same person. Also, Ladybug saw Cat Noir as Adrien in the same place in 𝗀cie𝗂𝗿𝗀𝗀. These things ensure that it's very much harder for them to know each other's true identities. 5. This one's not really a factor in the show, but I do want to point it out for fun that sometimes it can actually be difficult to recognize people when they have disguises on or change their appearance a little in real life, and it's even harder if part of their faces is covered, also a disguise. For example, did you know that Pepper from American Horror Story is also her? Sure, there's makeup, but remember that Ladybug and Cat Noir's hair also changes from Marinette's and Adrien's. By the way, Odin and Hannibal Lecter are played by the same actor. Wait, what? Really? I still have trouble imagining Jared Leto is also Joker, and the first time I was surprised that Willy Wonka was Johnny Depp. Wait, Michael Keaton is also Beetlejuice? This guy, she's her, he's him, she's her, he turned white but it's still him, they're the same person. Oh, and look, Thomas Astruc with a beard and without a beard. Pop a mask on and you might not think that it's him at first. However, I think the show follows different rules because the identity thing is due to the age and voice concealing. And also, if the characters see each other every day, they should make connections between appearance eventually, but they haven't. But then again, I just wanted to do this for fun. Final questions you may have relating to identities and my explanation for it. 1. Why does Adrien's appearance change more substantially in hero form compared to Ladybug? Is she somehow less hidden than him in terms of appearance? My answer. Since magic's in the picture, I do think they have the same level of cloaking power. Also because, the luck power seems slightly more powerful than cataclysm, since Ladybug, has more capabilities, like purifying Akumas. Plus, people can't tell who Cat Noir is just as much as they can't tell who Ladybug is. I've come to the conclusion that Cat Noir's appearance looks different from Ladybug's only because of style, to match his hero identity. Look, this is a cool connection I made. Both Reina Rouge and him look much more different than Alya and Cat Noir, and what do they have in common? Their outfits are both furry animal themed, so they gotta look wilder with longer hair. Both Ladybug and Queen Bee don't look that different from how we see them in civilian form, and they look, neater than Reina and Cat because their outfits are insect themed, and insects got no fur. And Carapace is reptile themed, which unlike the furry animal themed heroes, looks more obvious like the insect themed heroes. But somehow the villains are less obvious, because they have dark power, or just so that there's mystery for us about the identity of the villains. 2. Why don't people have any sense when they're stuck in a place and there's no way out, but Cat Noir and Ladybug miraculously arrive on scene, as if they were also stuck in there with them the whole time? My answer. In times of crisis, you may not notice these small things, and you might assume that because they're superheroes, they found a way in before the exits got blocked off completely. Okay, what really bothers me is that sometimes an incident isn't even on the news and Ladybug and Cat Noir know to arrive on the scene. Like, how obvious is that? So, maybe, the people of Paris assume that because they're heroes with cool powers, they may have a professional system that notifies them about incidents. But then the heroes themselves, who know they don't have a system, must realize there's something a little fishy, right? Like, how did you know that there was something happening here when this place doesn't even receive coverage that often? Do you study here? Or maybe they assume that the other has a system to tell them where to go, something like that, because they never really ask each other questions like that and go over that with each other. They're probably too occupied with work or something. Anyway. 3. Sometimes Adrien kind of acts like Cat Noir, like flirty and makes puns. And Marinette kind of acts like Ladybug, so shouldn't that give it away? My answer. Well, as I showed already, the heroes might look completely different to the people compared to their civilian forms, and even if they kind of act like Ladybug and Cat Noir once in a while, they mostly don't, and people probably go for the option that the heroes are probably other people who act more like that all the time. After all, due to magic, the heroes could really be anyone. 4. What does Alya suspect Adrien is Cat Noir while Marinette got even excited? My answer. I think it's because Alya and Marinette have different personalities from each other. Alya is just more open-minded and accepts that someone as reserved as Adrien can even be cocky and talkative Cat Noir. To her, the difference in personality doesn't matter. She will consider anything. But Marinette, she's seen ways that Adrien can't be Cat Noir, so she just won't accept it. Also, she may not accept it because it would mean that she didn't love Adrien as much as she believes she did, and she'd feel bad about that. 5. Seriously, why didn't Marinette see it after Adrien said he was allergic to feathers? My answer. Okay, I heard feather allergies are rare, which is why people were so frustrated, so I did more research to see just how rare it might be, and if it makes sense if Marinette didn't pick up on it. Pretend that this just represents how common feather allergies are everywhere. By estimating, let's get an idea of how many people in a small area like Paris, like where Marinette and Cat Noir live, may be allergic to feathers using the US data. To emphasize, I'm using data from the US to compare it to an area in Paris, so this is not accurate to real life, and it's only meant to provide a visual. Okay, first let's limit the area in Paris to, say, 10,000 people, because we have to take into account that Mary and Adrien will realistically believe that Cat Noir and LB live in a close enough area to get to the missions fast enough all the time, since they know their own abilities and they don't exactly have super speed. I would divide it more by hair color, but since Marinette's hair changes color, she might assume that Cat Noir's hair does too. So, in that case, we don't need to divide it by hair color. So, based on my findings, bird allergies may be far rarer than allergies to cats and dogs, because yeah, you hear less about bird allergies, but there's still a few people, guys specifically, that live in the area where Ladybug and Cat Noir work that could have bird allergies, based on the realistic commonality of bird allergies in the US. So, Marinette might know that even though it's rare, Adrien can't be the only one out of the many people that live in their area that can have bird allergies, and Cat Noir can have those allergies too. She might have been like, oh, what a funny coincidence. And plus, today was a foul mess, so the more feathers and birds, the more people with bird allergies revealing themselves. And also, given that magic makes Cat Noir impossible to compare to Adrien, as they don't exactly look alike, and Cat Noir can be any guy with bird allergies, it's less likely for her to say, oh, Adrien and Cat Noir are the same, especially because they act so different too. Maybe if Cat Noir and Adrien acted more similarly, his identity could be given away, but as one of the factors that makes it harder for people to recognize his identity, like, the most that Adrien can be is suspected, but not instantly believed to be Cat Noir. So I think it does make sense for her to not accept the allergies as clear, unquestionable proof that Adrien is Cat Noir. Or maybe that scene was just there to reveal that that's just how unwilling Marinette is to believe that Adrien is Cat Noir because of their differences, and that unwillingness to believe is also a factor that makes it harder for her to make connections because she just won't even consider it. She's blinded by her idea that, no, Adrien can't be Cat Noir because I know Adrien doesn't act like him. It's like when you think you know something but someone else challenges that and you refuse to believe them because you're like, I know myself. I know what I know. Or when you're sure you put something in a particular spot, so you look around there first for a whole time, but you look in other places later and less readily. I'm saying this about Marinette because the creators chose to make Adrien allergic to feathers, not cat fur or dog fur. Probably not cat fur because he's a cat himself and that's ridiculous. But it could have been dog fur that they made him allergic to. Or they could have not shown him allergic to anything in the show, but they decided to make allergies a part of it. Allergies to bird feathers. And he sneezed both when he was Cat Noir and Adrien. There's a reason behind it. It definitely relates to identity because Marinette saw that both the Adrien and Cat Noir sides sneezed. By the way, I want to send a tip to the characters even though it will never reach them, but I want to send it anyway for how they can figure out Ladybug and Cat Noir's identities. Seriously, every time someone knows a certain hero or are kind of close with them, that hero's probably them.
The surprise I planned for you. I've got a bit more time now if you want to interview me for your lady blog.
James Olsen said you wanted to see me. Something about you thinking your assistant was me?
Oh, folks, stop treating Supergirl like she's your personal assistant.
You don't know Spider-Man.
I said in my first video that we haven't seen them talk in their hero selves in civilian form. Well, I was wrong. I want to change that. Sorry, I make mistakes and I don't notice things sometimes. This person, nice catch. They mentioned how in Lady Wi-Fi, Adrien responded to Ladybug as Cat Noir even though he was in civilian form. Also in Mayura, they showed the two again talking to each other as the two heroes in their civilian forms, which came after I already uploaded that first video. Okay, so I think Ladybug and Cat Noir definitely can't talk to each other in civilian form, like in Dark Owl, where Tiki shut Adrien's mouth. There has to be a meaning to that. I think they would still give their identities away if they did that. Okay, now I think that the reason they can't talk to each other like their other personality sides may be because it's through a door actually, so their voices are less clear, still understandable but muffled. In Mayura, it was through this really thick sewer wall the whole time, and plus in sewers voices echo, so it's harder to make connections between one voice and another because echoed voices sound different than usual. Plus their tones distinguish their voice more since, when Adrien talks like Cat Noir, he has a more playful, energetic tone.
You like water rides?
And not that soft, calm voice.
Marinette and I are finalists in the Paris Ultimate Mecha Strike 3 tournament.
I don't think I have enough to go on for the voices aspect though. Like, maybe if the two talk to each other directly with their eyes closed when they de-transform, without being behind walls or anything, that might change my ideas. But for now, I'm gonna go with my new reasoning. Okay, to close, if any of my reasoning seems a little flimsy, I'm sorry, but for real, this identity thing is kind of more hard to explain than it looks, and I'm not even in college yet, but I'm trying my best. And I'm human, not a beast like Einstein. Hope you get things anyway. Bye!